of the year.
Umpire Brett Rosebery to get things underway here on a Saturday night at the SCG. Bounce favours Geelong. Mooney in the ruck. Interesting choice there as the ball comes to ground. Maxfield with the first kick of the night along towards Hall. Scarlett there with the spoil. At ground level, Milburn back in the side and reading it the best. Over to Johnson. Wider to the wing. Haynes on a long lead. Third game now for the Cats. Yet to score David Haynes. He was a goal kicker at the West Coast Eagles. They'll need to get involved tonight if they're going to get some goals. As Tiff mentioned earlier on, only 9 and 6 in their first 2 games.
Well, it's 2 free kicks there. One could quite easily have been paid to Heath James. He was pulled out of the contest, but it came up with Bolton.
So Craig Bolton up along the wing. His target is Ryan O'Keefe, who gets the half volley, but he's got nowhere to go. Cameron Mooney swamps him. And we'll have another ball up. Umpires tonight, Rosebery, Nichols and Schmidt.
Back in the forward line is Tom Harley on Jason Ball. Scarlett's pushed out to cover Barry Hall.
Here's Kirk. Fosdyke. Long ball. Again towards the 45-metre line. It is here at the Sydney. Good take. Barry Hall. Hard to gauge. He's really beyond the 50-metre line if the ground was big enough here. So he backed himself to get the distance, but the angle is tough, and so takes the easy option to Schneider. Not much further out from goal. Better angle. Loose checking by the Cats, and the Brownlow medalist right on the 45.
Well, an interesting matchup there. Cam Mooney into the ruck. He's got the job, huge job it is, on Adam Goods. And Adam Goods, as we've seen over the last 12 to 18 months, Cam Mooney can't afford to zone off and give a player the calibre of this man on screen any opportunity. He'd love this start if he can get the first goal for the match and the first goal for the Swans.
1 goal 3 in the first 2 weeks. Pretty quiet last week. Just the 11 disposals against Fremantle. Very close to the man on the mark. And he worked the mark well, Mooney. The mark taken by Scarlett.
Well, that wasn't up to his normal standard. Neither was that for Matthew Scarlett, who has unfortunately coughed it up just straight out in front. And Ryan O'Keefe is the lucky recipient.
One of the things that they've worked on during the course of the week has just been their decision making, making sure they were patient, especially down back and under pressure. And look, without being too critical on Matty Scarlett, he's been around, he's one of their leaders. Deep in defence, you can't afford to make a simple mistake like that.
Just the 15 metres. Looked a lot closer to 10, but O'Keefe on the 45-degree angle. It's true, it's a goal. Sydney have the first against the Cats. O'Keefe with his third for the season, and with that restructured forward line, O'Keefe's a player that really gets an opportunity with no Lachlan, no Davis.
Well, that's right, Matty. And look, Ryan O'Keefe's been one of these players that's been at the club for probably about 3 or 4 years now, and he's just taken time to develop. We mentioned it early, or Gerard did early, where do they get their goals from? That's been the strength of this side. They're able to get players like Ryan O'Keefe step up to the plate, kick 2 or 3 goals a week. That compensates for O'Loughlin Davis missing from this lineup.
Swans with the first goal of the evening. They've got 7 disposals so far, all kicks. Hands will be into it soon. Haynes in quick off the line. Around the body touch, but it falls in the lap of Bolton. Back towards Matthews. Long handball to the goal kicker and O'Keefe. Now he's way back on the half-back flank. Poor kick. Haynes involved, doesn't take it. That's a beautiful pick-up. Sydney move it forward. Scarlett and Hall. Fascinating duel this promises to be. Off the ground, Hall trying to keep it alive for the Swans. Kingsley down back for Geelong. Again, Haynes was the target, and again he goes without it. Leo Barry underneath. Going in Enright. Hard tackling. Kirk over the top of Corey, and we'll have a ball up.
Well, they're playing an unusual structure here, the Cats. They've got Henry Playfair and Paul Chapman as the only 2 blokes in their forward line. Charlie Gardner's just floating back now, trying to get some better structure, but they're clearly trying to block up the Swans in their half.
Mooney got it to Ling, who goes short to Kelly. Back through the middle. Looking for Gardner, missed him. Goods got back to help out. Handball to Williams. James is down again. We know what sort of injury problems he's had in the past. Let's hope he's okay. Meantime, Sydney with a chance at their 45. Schneider, clever little tap, gets a 1-2 from Bolton. Long kick is a bad one. Schneider out on the full as he was pushed, and he's going to get a free kick. So That's James copping a pretty solid knee from Leo Barry. Appears to be okay, jogging off now, but the free kick is going back to Adam Schneider, and he's well within range. He's a beautiful kick, Wayne.
Terrific kick. He had a stellar debut year last year, Adam Schneider. And it's interesting that they've actually, or Paul Roos and the match committee, have brought in another similar type player, Amon Buchanan. I think there's every intention of just allowing these guys to develop their game with the view to move them into the midfield, and with their developing midfield already, if these players such as Buchanan and Schneider can develop their game, become a little bit fitter, that's a very potent midfield unit.
30 goals last season. Terrific start to his career. 2 so far for 2004, 2 so far for the Sydney Swans.
Well, it was an outstanding finish there by Adam Schneider. We saw his skills last year, and this is the push straight after he's got disposal. It was over the top. He's a little bit generous, I think, from the umpire. They generally allow those ones to go, but technically he was there, so it will get a tick from the umpire's bosses. But a good start to the Swans. The Cats have been inside 50, looking for a goal kicker.
Perfect start for the Swans. They've been inside their forward 45 4 times already. Goods over the top of Mooney, who went again. Leo Barry mopping up. Good tackle, couldn't get his kick in, correct disposal. Holding the ball, advantage paid to Mooney. This is promising for Geelong. Their first time up forward. Haynes is there again. Out of the tackler, Crouch. Looking for some space and time. Back to Kelly, within range. Not a bad shot from James. Kelly's got it. A quick answer from the Cats. Coming off a terrific game last week, Jared.
He was a star last week, and he was outstanding in his first year. Just ran into a few problems last season. Bomber Thompson lost a bit of patience, put him back in the VFL side, but he has responded pretty well, and no doubt he put in a big pre-season. It's off to a good start tonight. He'll be one that Paul Roos will have done a lot of work on, and he'll be right under the pressure. If he wants to become a top player in the country, he's got to be able to handle that, still produce the top results.
First goal for the Cats. There's no question David Haynes is their go-to man at the moment, playing roaming across centre-half forward. It gets back to what you said, Jared. Sometimes you need a smaller centre-half forward here in the SCG in the small ground.
Well, it's worked for them so far. Lynn getting the ball out of the middle. Good start again by the Cats.
Here is Haynes once again. Barry with him. Didn't take it. We'll be happy to see a boundary throw in. They can set up. A set play deep in their forward line.
Ben Matthews is on the debutant, Andrew Mackey. And one of the things that he'll need to really be concerned with is just the drive that Ben Matthews gives. He'll be desperate to chase the footy and get his first touch, but he's got a pretty high-powered opponent to mind as well.
Here's Fosdyke. Quick little give back to Crouch. And turn back to Fosdyke. Now the kick. Tough one to mark. It's wobbling through the air. The spoil came from Tenace. Kirk wrapping up Kelly, but he kept his arms free. Likewise, Corey did. Back towards
Free
kick over the top. He's got to come back. Cameron Ling will take it.
Well, this is really good, I think, from Bomber Thompson. He's tried to go outside of the square, and he's got Cameron Mooney up onto the ball, going with Jason Ball and Adam Goods. So it's really thrown, Paul Roos something to think about. They've just interchanged, and he'll have plenty of rest, no doubt, through the night.
It's gone back to Scarlett. Well, Sydney have really got some numbers back at the moment. They're forcing Geelong wide. Milburn in the centre square.
Is it just my eyes, or do you reckon the umpires just need to check what 15 metres is again?
No question.
The 10-metre kick seems to be creeping back in.
Yes. Well, they say retro comes back in fashion as well, Jerry. Maybe the 10 metres is back. Here's Chapman for his first touch.
Jim Slim sing a song about that as well.
Fat Boy Slim? We'll talk about that afterwards. Kingsley couldn't take it. And we'll have a boundary throw in. And there's that change we talked about. Mooney off for a spell.
Yeah, he does. So there's plenty of running power on the bench there with Spriggs, who's been just fair so far this season. He'll be looking to get back on with Wojcinski and Rook as well.
That was Bolton, and Fosdyke was just tossed out of the contest. Good tackle by Bolton on the top of Milburn. There is Cameron Mooney going through his warm-down procedure.
It's what it looks really evident that Bomber Thompson wants a couple of his forwards to keep well out, just to keep plenty of space between the goal line and the contest. Haynes is really just pushing out, trying to drag Leo Barry away from the contest.
Serves as twofold though, Jared, because Sydney are so attacking from the defensive end. They've got to make sure there's enough numbers there to cover it when they switch and run it out the other side.
Bolton goes out wide. A long lead from Saddington. Up to the boundary. Jason Ball.
Pretty handy swap, isn't it? Ball and Goods, ruck and full forward. Goods now just sitting in the goal square with the whole of the 45 arc to himself.
Buchanan was the man attempting. As we see what you're talking about here, Jared, we've got Leo Barry and Haynes drifting right up into the centre square.
Yeah, they're no doubt trying to separate the Swans forwards, defenders, trying to keep them well apart.
Off the ground, the Cats moving it forward. Crouch. Chapman. Tough in close. Kelly off one step. Playing in front, should take the mark, and he does. Gardner switches round. Kingsley, good movement of the footy by the Cats.
Terrific piece of play, and it came back from a real good contest on the wing there. But the importance, Jared, of moving the ball in quickly, forward in front, not waiting for something or something to arise. Play on quickly, out to a lead of Kingsley. Good build-up should result in a goal for the Cats, hopefully.
Well, he was in front there, and he was in front of a pretty dangerous player in Ty Kennelly. Important shot here for the Cats. Their full forward needs to get on target early.
Kingsley needs a bit of bend on the foot. He doesn't get it. He could have evened the score, but it's not to be. Just to behind the Swans that lead by 5 points. Ken Kingsley, 3 goals, 5 so far in this year. They really have struggled to kick goals, the Cats.
Really good shot for Kent to have a look at there. If you have a look from behind, he ran left of the centre. Now, with the hip rotation, when you try and kick through the ball, you're always going to pull the ball left. So he's got a pretty good kicking style, but he just needs to address his attack line.
This is Ben Matthews in the back pocket for Sydney. Geelong have done a pretty good job of manning up here. Just chipping over the top. 15 metres, perhaps. Just. Craig Bolton. Again, Geelong. They've got plenty of one-on-one situations.
That's good pressure from Geelong.
It's forced a turnover, hasn't it?
Every man found an opponent there, and that's obviously something Mark Thompson addressed before the game.
Hunt is chipping it over the top to Cameron Ling.
And this is what they need more of. Ling getting the ball inside 50, but doing something a bit better than that. They've got away with it.
Using it better. Chambers, it'll give off to Johnson. High ball, should suit the defenders. Almost a mark to Kingsley. Bolton goes back and he's searching for the boundary line in front of Harley and finds it. 11 minutes remaining in the first term. Sydney by 5 points. And it's almost we saw Jared Rook be the late inclusion. So it's almost a bit of a chess game, Jared. Changes by Bomber Thompson.
Well, I think that Bomber is probably hamstrung a little bit by Riccardi.
Yep.
But I think the best chess move so far has been the one of Mooney into the middle. He hasn't got the fitness to go all the way, which is something that he will hopefully develop, but it would be a hell of a lot better, Wayne, if he could go all the way to full back with Adam Goods and just tag him like a midfielder.
Yeah, you'd like that, but it's hard to do that to Adam Goods.
Chambers wins that knock. Out in front, Ablett. Tenace. Solid tackle, wrapped him up nicely. He was going nowhere.
And whilst we're on matchups, I think the matchup of Haynes on Leo Barry, we know how exciting he is defensively, Leo Barry, but we've seen that David Haynes is that go-to man. They've said, make sure every time you get the ball, kick to Leo Barry's opponent.
Off the ground. Coming out Saddington, who's up forward at the moment. Bolton, did he have it? No. Free kick Sydney. Right in the middle of the ground. Terrific season from Jude Bolton last year. Paul Roos seemed to bring the best out in quite a few players. Leo Barry, Brett Kirk, Jude Bolton, Jared Crouch continues on playing football, hasn't missed a game yet. A long ball, it'll go all the way. Touched on the line by Enright. Good presence of mind.
Well, it was a great drive by Jared Crouch. He really centred the ball and launched it. Looked like it was going to go all the way, but Corey Enright doing very well. Had the shepherd to contend with, but still managed to fist it across for just one behind.
Milburn, a little bit indecisive. In the end, decides that Cameron Ling, the acting skipper, was his best option. He's too indecisive. Raleigh, got to go back to Ling. He's on his left now. Not a good kick. Cut off by Ball. Can Sydney make the Cats pay? Chambers Not much help there. Over the top, Wojcinski, who's now on the ground. Raleigh, caught high, will get the free kick. A bit fortunate there, the Cats. They were pretty messy. He goes through the middle now. Johnson got it to Wojcinski, loves to run with the football, kicks it inside the 45. Williams comes out to meet it. Kick finds ball.
Just clean skill, good execution.
McVeigh now, also started on the bench, goes towards Hall. Geelong gets some numbers back to help out. It was 4-on-1. The big spoil over the top.
Well, the Swans midfielders and carriers are going to have to be smarter than this as we see problems here for the Swans with Ty Kennelly coming from the ground. Let's go down to Tiff Terry. She's got some news.
About 2 minutes ago, Ty actually called the doctor out onto the ground. He's in obvious distress, and he pinpointed to his actual abdomen area. As you can see, the doctor's working on him now, so I'll get back to you with some more news.
Well, there he is. We see this being worked upon. Perhaps a cracked rib would be the concern at the moment. Here is that incident. That one was with Heath James.
Find out what's going on with Ty Kennelly, but at the moment...
He should have broken ribs after that, but fortunately for him, he got up. But just getting back to that issue, with the bombing of Barry Hall, it's really non-productive footy. Barry Hall has to beat 4 people, which means there's a couple of people that are free, and the chip kick's going to be more productive.
This is Corey. Kennelly down into the rooms for some treatment. Johnson now with the football. That's his time. Chapman over the top to Harley, and he gets it back. Good pressure by Sydney. Skills have to be spot on in this case, and they are, and Charlie Gardner will mark.
See, just having a look at the way David Haynes is running Leo Barry around, I'm not sure he's interested in the footy. I think he just wants to get Barry out of the area.
He's on the opposite side of the ground to Kent Kingsley, who has got it just outside 45. Chip pass, leading player Kelly, ball to ground. Mackie looking for his first possession. There it is. Kingsley back inside. In trouble was Johnson. Back is now Matthews. He goes wide to McVeigh. Half volley. Approaching, closing is Wojcinski. Play on, and we'll have a ball in. They will have a free kick, and it's going to Sydney for a push after the ball had run over the boundary line against David Haynes.
Probably a little bit fortunate there, I think. The Swans, it looked to me as if McVeigh had time. He wanted to balk and take on the player, and I think it's Rook who affected the tackle.
So Brett Kirk, short pass. Again, Geelong have manned up pretty well, and Chapman chipped in front of Ablett. So they're responding to man-on-man football.
They are, and that's the simplest way, I think. Get back to some basic fundamentals of football to get yourself back into the game. Looked very disappointing last week, and that's probably one of the areas where they let themselves down. So give them a bit of credit at the moment, the Cats.
Goods. Now, wasn't in possession. Yes, he was. He was in possession according to the umpire.
It's a really interesting decision by the umpire. Have a look at Adam Goods here. To me, he's in possession. He's a very clever player, and he could have taken possession, but he didn't. But he was controlling the ball.
And of course, coming from a ruck clearance, you don't get much time in that situation. James, Barry with him. Quick hands by Williams to Bolt. He got it back. Good pressure by the Cats. They're everywhere. They're swamping them inside their forward 45. And another ball up.
Snyder coming from the ground. This will be contentious. Was he in possession or not? There's the tap. He takes it. Why?
Contentious, I think, is a good choice of words there.
Well, if that had been a mark, people would have been saying 4 bites of the cherry.
Is that coming back into fashion as well? Here's Corey. Chambers, terrible kick. Who knows what's going to happen off the bounce though? Mackie, right with him is number 4 counterpart in Matthews, and James gets it from Williams. He's run down. The pressure again from the Cats. They forced another turnover. So the attitude by the Geelong forward line is terrific at the moment. And Kingsley's got it just outside the 45.
It comes down to work rate. I think we saw them last week, and after half-time, the work rate just dropped off to be at an embarrassing level. But tonight, they are working for each other. They're finding some space. They've had more tackles than Sydney at the moment. 10 tackles to 8. And just have a look at their uncontested marks. 17 to Swans 9. They are chipping the ball around. They haven't got big pack markers in the team, so I think they are playing to their strengths at the moment. But they do need to address this aspect, and that is the finish.
Well, let's see what Kent Kingsley does Will he run left again? Let's see if he can straighten up here. A little bit further out, but a very similar angle. Distance shouldn't be a problem for the full forward. Looks pretty good off the boot. Right close to the line, it's through, and the Cats level the score. Kingsley goes to school on his first kick, kicks the second for Geelong, scores level.
Good fight back by the Cats.
It has. Look, they steadied the ship early on. I just thought they were outweighted by a sheer number of possessions to the Swans. But interestingly there with Kingsley's shot on goal, why it is, I think it's subconsciously players go back, probably think I might make the distance, and they follow through with their normal run-up, just hoping that everything goes well. Big difference between that shot and his previous shot on goal.
Luke Ablett, just Adam Schneider, I should say, just getting some attention down the bench. He's come off. Let's find out what's happening down there. Tiff Cherry.
Yeah, he's actually complaining of a tight right quad there, and obviously the physio is stretching it and massaging it, so it's just a tight quad.
Back in the middle, 5 minutes remaining. Scores level. Geelong have won their last two opening quarters against St Kilda and Carlton, and then it's been a very sad tale from then on in. Mooney's back on the ground. Here's Goods. Tapped it his way, but Kelly was in the road for Geelong, and Matthews does likewise for Sydney.
Getting plenty of it already, James Kelly, with 7 possessions. He's effective too, and that's why they need to guard him, because most of his possessions end up with a Geelong player.
Joel Corey just overcommitted himself there and was pretty lucky, and Brett Kirk saw the ball over the boundary line. Ben Matthews has had plenty already. He's coming off 28 disposals last week against the Dockers, already with 6 for Sydney. Goods won that knock. Bolt forcing it forward. O'Keefe caught behind, Enright in front. Untidy handball. Accelerates the pressure. And the free kick going back to Geelong for in the back. Sydney gets some numbers back, and Geelong forced. Well, I was going to say forced to chip it. They've got to take it first. Maxfield. Back towards Buchanan. Johnson on hands and knees, trying to crawl out of defence. Going nowhere. Ball up 40 metres out from the Sydney goal.
Yeah, all that hard work can be undone so quickly, and very rarely do you find many players in this competition that can find a target off one step.
Kicker was Raleigh. The error came from Wojcinski. The ball is with Kirk. Bolt. Goods. Going backwards. Free kick off the ball. It's against Wojcinski.
Slung after he got rid of the football. As Adam Goods comes from the ground, he may be having a rest or having a chat to Paul Roos. But the Swans have kicked 1 goal, and they're going to have 2 goals. They're going to have another shot of that. If they can kick this, then 2 of the goals have come from just dumb mistakes by the Cats' disposal.
Jude Bolton will be the man. It's a double change for Sydney, and Ty Kennelly has returned to the field, albeit he's still on the bench, but he's warming up and he's ready to get out there, so some good news there for Swans fans. Bolton, 2 goals so far in the first 2 games. Happy with it. He's got 3 and he's had 7 disposals. Sydney back in front by the goal to Bolton. And I guess that's the frustrating thing for Bob and Thompson, Wayne, is that all the good work and just a couple of bad skill areas coming out of their back half, as Jared said, has resulted in 2 goals. And
that was the area they focused on this week at training. That apparently the word was from Geelong had a terrific training night on Wednesday night, and they based on most of those fundamental things, hitting a target, being patient, good choice in delivery. All the hard work was undone by one silly mistake, but still building here at the SCG with 3.5 minutes remaining. Ball in the ruck, but Mooney won it well to Kelly, who's on the defensive side of the centre circle. Mackey and Matthews, Bolton, back to Matthews.
Well done to Mackey.
He came in for the second effort, didn't he? And wrapped him up nicely.
Kelly's had about 8 or 9 possessions at this stage. Such has been his dominance that his direct opponent, Nick Fosdyke, is now sitting on the interchange bench.
What they've got to do is sort out their centre clearance situation here, Swans. They're up against a fellow who's not a normal ruckman, and yet their clearances are 4-1 ball in favour of Geelong. So Cameron Mooney and his partner are doing particularly well, as are the ground level centre clearance players.
Kelly with the last 2 clearances. Here's Mooney and ball. Knight, banging it forward.
She's big cushy at the hall.
And he's going to get the free kick. Advantage will be paid. Advantage is paid. Running into the goals is O'Keefe and missing. Big contest there. Hall push. Geelong player down as a result of that contest. We'll take a look. Coming right over the top was Milburn.
And this is one that just shouldn't have got away. He had opponents, he had teammates just right in the middle of the ground, and yet he just slid it across the face. Not an easy shot for the left footer. Probably laying it off for the set shot in front was the option.
Scarlett now.
Milburn in the hands of the trainer still. He took a bit of a whack in that last contest.
Came down pretty heavy for that attempt to spoil, but all of a sudden he's found some space and the footy. Handball.
Once again.
Untidy. Missing the body, missing their targets.
Just over possession. If you're going to play that over possession game out in the back half, your skills have got to be pure, and you've got to play with a fair degree of a positive attitude. You just saw there that they were almost double thinking themselves.
Ling, stolen by Hall, tries to barge his way through Milburn, isn't successful, holding the ball. There's a few Cats fans here in Sydney tonight who are happy with that decision.
That was a great tackle. You don't find a more fearsome player than Barry Hall with the ball wrapped under his arm. I think Barry was confident he would have broke the tackle. Terrific play, Darren Milburn. Saved the day for the Geelong side.
I think he's okay now, Darren Milburn.
I think Barry thought he was next door playing rugby league.
Just the defensive side of the centre now for Geelong. And Gardner up the wing, and ball's going back now. 50-metre penalty. 50-metre penalty, so it's back with Gardner.
Important possession coming up here for Geelong. Just have to be patient.
Just a minute remaining. Good kick.
Great lead.
Strong lead. Good kick.
Went early, Ken Kingsley. I thought he went too early, but he's finished up with the ball outside 50. Heard him last week when he wasn't kicking accurately, but if he can get on target, he's winning the ball well at the moment.
Led 3 times to the exact same spot. He pulled the first one left, the second one was dead straight. The third was left again. Just the behind.
Just outside his range there. I think he's trying for just that bit too much. And
plants the left foot, hooks it.
Yep.
6-point margin late in the first term as Paul Williams. It's time for a Sydney score. He's away.
Williams is being tagged by Johnson, and he hasn't had a lot of the footy at the moment. He's had 5 possessions. A couple of them have been deep in defence.
Ablett looking for Bolton. Good take over the top of Corey.
Been a terrific pickup as Craig Bolton for the Sydney Swans. Since being a full-time reserve up in Brisbane, he's really come through and been a regular senior player.
Yeah, fantastic year, wasn't it? Played every game. 6th in their best and fairest.
Probably end up with it again.
He's going to get it from Saddington, who they often have to play very tall down back, but it's not to be. It doesn't matter. A very entertaining first quarter. A change-up by coach Bomber Thompson for the Cats in their forward line structure. And at quarter time, the Sydney Swans 3-2, lead Geelong 2-2.
Easter Sunday, the Doggies are set to march through a unified Demon squad.
Tremendous courage.
Just who'll be thanking their mum for the rabbits?
This is a crazy game.
Western Bulldogs versus Melbourne at the G. Sunday on Fox Footy Channel.
So 10 seconds left and the crowd going, Gibbo, Gibbo, 10, 9, I'm flying down the sideline, right, I'm flying down. And they're like, Gibbo, Gibbo.
Do is new, what mates do.
The United Returned Soldiers Fund Anzac Day Appeal, and you are invited. Let's show we remember and support not only those now gone, but also those now serving Australia. They fought for our freedom then, and many are still fighting today. Dig deep for our diggers, buy an Anzac Day badge and wear it with pride on April 25. Show returned service personnel and their families we will remember.
Dig deep for a digger.
When I was a player, I took the game pretty seriously because the result determined your week. Joy if you won, anguish if you lost.
They're in front. The Swans lead by 2 points.
These days the game's moved on. It's big business. It's multiplied many-fold. But I still love to watch the players because the scrap remains the same. The contest to the final siren delivers the same result. It's a choice between heaven and hell.
Gerard Healy, footy fan, part of the Fox footy team.
Welcome back to the SCG. It's quarter time with the Sydney Swans leading by just a straight kick. Bolton, O'Keefe, goal scorers, and Kelly got the first goal. Kingsley has had an opportunity to possibly have 3, but he's missed a couple. Kelly's had plenty of the ball, and Bolton's Jude and Craig leading the possessions for Sydney. Let's head down to the ground now with Tiffany Cherry, with a man that's played over 240 games with the Sydney Swans, now in a Geelong shirt.
Well, Darren, Bomber asked for a special effort from the guys before the game, and we saw the intensity was really high there.
Yeah, super impressive performance by us. I'm really happy with the way we're attacking the ball. Our accountability's been super. Sydney are a possession, like to play possession style, and we've really manned them up and stopped them from playing the way they want to play. You
swung Mooney into the ruck. Are you going to continue with that through the game?
Yeah, Moon's just been really good for us. He finished off the game in the ruck last week and was super, so he'll start the game at this point for us.
And what was the directive from Bomber then?
Yeah, same stuff. Be intense, go hard at the footy.
All right, thanks, Darren.
Yes, a real asset for Coach Mark Thompson, having someone that knows the Sydney team so well, being on his bench. Another game being played tonight between Essendon and the West Coast Eagles at the Telstra Dome. We're going to show you a score of that game. Replays are coming, as you know. If you don't want to know the score, you can look away now. Second quarter just about to get underway.
One of the interesting team stats, just having a look with Wayne at quarter time, was the hit-outs. 17 hit-outs to Sydney and only 4 to Geelong, but they're doing particularly well in the takeaways, Wayne, Geelong, reversing the hit-out figure.
Been very impressed and ably led by young James Kelly. I think one of the telling stats for mine, Jared, if you look at a couple of these key running defenders for the Swans, Kennelly, Maxfield, Leo Barry, they've each touched the ball once, so they're working to a plan, the Geelong side. They're doing extremely well at the moment.
Just waiting on the umpire to see the light.
And he has. Well, if he turns around, he will. Some last-minute instructions for former player Brad Seymour, running for the Swans.
That's what I need.
We're away in the second quarter. Cameron Mooney back in the ruck, and again it's Kelly with the clearance for Geelong. Doing well in that area. Second, the ball was good by Mackie. Sydney gets some numbers back. Haynes diving through and knocking it forward. Matthews wrapped up by Mackie. Again with a second effort. Kelly. Gee, the work rate by Geelong at the moment is terrific. James keeps it in. Back to Williams. Over to Fosdyke now. Kirk. Over the top to Fosdyke. Good running. Around the body. Only as far as Darren Milburn.
Well, I'm not surprised that Andrew Mackey's come into the side because he is just giving Bomber Thompson everything that they didn't have last week, and the attack on the ball and on the man, the tackling is ferocious from the young kid.
Over to the outer side now as Geelong go forward through Hunt, and on a long lead again is Chapman. Confident start by Geelong early in the second term, Wayne.
Well, the opportunities are presenting themselves, Matthew, simply because of what Jared's just said, is the attack on the ball, the defensive skills when Sydney have the ball themselves are first class, and these opportunities just presenting themselves all the time because they're doing hard work. And Andrew Mackey's attack on Leo Barry before didn't win the ball, but that was first class.
There's Mackey, the first gamer from Glenelg in South Australia. This is Chapman, tough angle, right on 45, going left, he wants it to come back, it did. Did it do it enough? It did. Cats level the scores. And Andrew Mackey had plenty to do with that, although the only stat that will show is a tackle.
His leadership, if he can be a leader in the first game, has been first class. Let's call it his example. He has really shown a few of his more senior players how to go about it. This is a good finish. But the Cats are just starting to sow the seeds of a major upset here. The Swans are really going to have to address this situation.
Scores level with the Cats getting the first goal of the second term. Chapman second for the season. Goods wins the knock through McVeigh. Williams with some skill goes back. Messy handball. That was James who coughed it up. And this is young Mackie. He was the Smoky surprise draft a year ago.
This will be his first kick in league footy.
And a percentage kick to the top of the square. A good take. Fine mark. Big Henry Playfair.
Probably something they haven't been able to get, manufacture or find over the first 2 weeks of this season is someone just like that, standing in amongst the pack and taking a very good contested mark.
Well, it's the first time it's happened in an AFL game, but maybe it's going to become a regular feature. Mackie to Playfair.
Well,
for Cats fans,
exactly, yeah. Henry Playfair, just 8 games of football under his belt, 21 years of age. Kicked 2 last week, needs to kick straight, does so. Cats in front for the first time this evening.
Well, it's been a big turnaround. Don't forget Sydney kicked the first 2 goals. So in the space of a quarter and a little bit, Geelong have just got themselves right on top here. Sydney just look as if they're going through a bad spell. The body language is down, the intensity's down. Not a lot of workers in the Sydney Swans line-up at the moment. Plenty of blokes prepared to finish, but not all that many putting their hand up as a worker.
Andrew Mackie on screen once again, enjoying his debut so far. Cats fans watching back home would be very pleased with what they see at the moment. Long way to go as Fosdyke drives it forward. That's the attack on the footy that Mark Thompson wants. Again, it's Darren Milburn. Switches wide.
Well, we saw in the first quarter that Saddington went up and manned up on Milburn, therefore he finished up in the forward line, and probably he'll end up doing that again tonight.
Enright gave it to Harley, goes forward, strong mark Chapman. Now, what do you think of this move? They're quite keen to get Chapman one out on Crouch as a leading forward, albeit a small one.
Well, I think they obviously rate his air prowess, Paul Chapman. This replay will show that's a very strong mark against a player that doesn't often give you a great deal of room to move. 9 marks the Cats so far in this quarter. Sydney yet to take one. Going back up the other end of the ground, there's an interesting matchup. Corey Enright on Jason Ball. When the ball goes into the Swans forward line, that matchup favours the Swans. But rebounding, Corey Enright has got too much leg speed for Jason Ball.
So for 3 goals in just over 5 minutes, Chapman for his second to put the Cats 2 ahead. Pretty good off the boot. He's got it. He's got 2. It's an 18-point margin. Make that 12. Getting ahead of myself with another goal, so we look forward to another one from Chapman. But 3 goals very quickly, and they've got their tail up.
They have. They're ranked outsiders at the start of this match, but I think we all know in footy when you get barrelled and get the barrage of criticism they got over the last 6 or 7 days, that you are going to come back a hell of a lot harder. Now, if you meet an opposition side that's a little bit flat, maybe not giving you as much respect, then an upset can certainly happen.
Chapman becomes the first multiple goal scorer on the ground. Once again, back in the middle, and this is where Geelong have been on top, even though Adam Goods is getting his hand to it. Williams couldn't quite get the kick. Johnson didn't take it. Milburn with some poise, under pressure, went wide. Kingsley, clever take on the half volley. Back through the middle to Haynes. He's gone long inside the 45. Playfair the target. It was Gardner. James wants Crouch, who's happy to see it over the boundary line.
Sadding has pushed forward, and he's just trying to be the target man, but they've crossed the ball.
Free kick was paid, and it's back now to Bolton, who's on the outer side. Hard running by O'Keefe. It's got clear of Mooney. With some time now, onto the left. Long ball, Barry Hall, nudged out by Scarlett. Umpire paid for holding. Regardless of that, Hall has the free kick.
Well, I think they're better suited with Barry Hall out at that centre-half forward, and I think it drags Scarlett away from where he's most comfortable as well.
Just a little touch of the jumper there, wasn't it? It went wide, still got possession. Schneider, back to McVeigh. Scoots around a couple, gets inside 45 and finishes beautifully. That was a lot of skill, a lot of poise for someone that's only playing game number 3.
Big raps on this kid. Think about that goal there. Was under some pressure, got a very good shepherd from Jason Ball, even though he's only young and just starting out his AFL career. Had the presence of mind to use his strength, that is speed, tuck the ball under his arm, just allow the replay to move on somewhat. Here he goes, shepherd from Jason Ball, got himself inside kicking range, whereas some younger players would just blaze away from outside 50. Perhaps that's the spark to get the Swans machine going to the SCG I should say.
Almost like a screen, wasn't it? Like a basketball screen. Just stood there and then peeled off. Bay with his second goal for the year. Of course, his career. Spriggs went without it. Maxfield didn't.
It's pretty clear Stewie Maxfield has sensed that some captain-type performances have been required here just to lead the way. The Swans just have started pretty slow. I see Paul Williams has gone on to Cameron Ling to try and break the tag that he's had imposed on him by David Johnson. So good move there.
Swans go forward again. They're down by a goal. Riley came over the top of Schneider. Spills out towards Kirk. He ran into his own man there in Fosdyke. Corey's over the top of it. Mooney, careful. Ball up. By Rosebery.
Joel Corey, like the rest of the competition, struggling to get away from the vice-like grip of Captain Kirk. 2 possessions, 2 kicks and 2 handballs only.
Here is Kirk. It's a ball just straight through the tackle. McVeigh for 2 and a bit. Oh, hits the woodwork. He's trying to ride it through. Just to behind, and Sydney have they've kicked into gear a bit. Ball got straight through. Not to be. 5-point ball game. Council go wide. This is Hunt.
Any value in that kick, Wayne? Surely the zone just pushes across one.
Yeah, I don't think there's a great deal of value, but perhaps that's a lack of confidence to go long for Geelong.
Well, Gardner spilled it. Taikinelli can make him pay. Short pass to Hall. Was it 15 metres, Jared? Or was it 13 or 14?
I reckon it was just 15. It was 15. There's been a few of those. It looked as if Taikinelli was going to go all the way, and then he just thought better of it. It was the right decision. And once again, another mistake. Just a skill error coming out of defence. They have cost Geelong big time.
Yeah, it could be their 3rd goal now. And they've really just sparked up the last couple of minutes, Sydney, after that 3-goal burst by the Cats. Just the 3 kicks so far for Barry Hall. Well within range. Not a difficult kick for a very skillful player. And he gets the goal. Swans back in front.
Well, if we're having a look at the Australian Open, we'd be just looking at the unforced error stat. John McEnroe, special comments.
We wouldn't. John would probably be a little bit more forthcoming with some of these basic mistakes. But when you look at that, Jared, that being said, the Cats hadn't have made so many unforced errors. You're probably looking at a 3 or 4 goal lead for them. So, look, there's a lot to take out of it. Just got to make sure they minimise the mistakes.
Barry Hall with his first puts the home team back in front.
They certainly lifted just in this last 3 or 4 minutes. In the last 4 minutes, Sydney's had 12 disposals and Geelong's just dropped off to 5.
Chapman wins it out of the centre. Gardner went to knock it forward. Haynes does get a lot of distance on those kicks around the body. Crouch with the percentage play for the rush behind to time to score.
And with those 12 disposals, Sydney, as you can see on the scoreboard, they've kicked 2 goals, 1, so they've had the momentum for perhaps the first time since the first 5 minutes of the match.
James Kelly, 11 possessions so far. Jared, surprised to see him resting in the forward pocket when he's finding the ball as much as what he is?
Well, I guess they're looking at the end of the match as much as they are at this period of time, and when you're up against Jared Crouch, you're going to need your rest as much as anyone.
Strong mark by Playfair. His second for the quarter. Can switch to Ling. He's got a couple in the middle if he plays on, and he does. Hunt. Oh, Messi. He's in trouble. Big trouble. Gets the benefit of the doubt from umpire Justin Schmidt. And just had to be clean there. Just had to hit the body. Cameron Ling. He should have. He should not. A player of his talent. Should have.
The option was right because Hunt can kick the ball a prodigious mile.
Mooney just knocking it forward. Johnson right with Williams. He's been there since the start of the game. Back involved Mooney. Well, that was Henry Playfair underneath all that.
Well, they're being persistent here, the Cats, and trying to get Johnson to stay on Williams, and Ling is trying to stay with Bolton. If they can reverse that, I think it'll work in the Swans' favour.
Away go the Cats. Around the body, not a bad effort from David Johnson. Came from nowhere, left his man. Williams in a minute. Now Williams has got the footy to kick it in. So backed himself in there, David Johnson. Now Williams to go wide to Leo Barry.
And because Joel Corey not getting much footy, they've just put him in defence. Kirk's still with him though.
Ablett. Short to the wings of Heath James. Adam Goods is forward, so too Jason Ball, but they've gone lateral to Leo Barry.
And this is he's coming up at just his third disposal of the match.
Yeah, you're spot on with what's happening with the Geelong forward line. They don't want him coming up as the third man. They don't want him as a running player. O'Keefe is running. Ball the target. Mooney did well. Forced to the ground. It'll be a free kick to Milburn. It's not. It's play on. He'll be disappointed.
That's a great tackle.
Throw was paid by the umpire. Perhaps justice prevailed.
Yeah, it was. The umpire was blindsided on that head high from Adam Goods, but good tackle because he restricted one of the arms.
Harley quick to move the ball to Cameron Ling. Doesn't get the required bounce that he was looking for on the SCG turf. Chips over the top. And again, when possession should have been the ultimate there, a little bit lackadaisical on keeping it.
And I would just like to see Cameron Ling, when he gets the ball, just go nice along down the line. He's made a couple of mistakes in short. Lucky the ball's gone out of bounds.
McVeigh back to Maxfield. Hunt came over the top and he's forced it forward. Perhaps the turnover. Gardner. Swans now get back in numbers to help out.
Well, I reckon that's a tough decision because he just stuck his head.
Yep.
He clearly took him high, but he saw the tackle coming.
Let's take a look.
And he just drops his head.
Yeah, Paul Chapman. Well, they only told Timber to kick to his Playfair, who pretty static. He just said kick it high. This is what Playfair wanted. He's at it now, and he's got it. That's some confidence, mate.
Oh, he's attacking it like he's confident. It's just unaccustomed with the Swans' defence at the moment. I suppose that's the strength of what they've done with Leo Barry. You normally see a player like Barry Kennelly, third man up, able to leave their man. Great discipline showed by a player like David Haynes to make sure that he's dragging Leo Barry out, taking away one of the strengths of the Swans' defensive line. This kid, he's probably got an opportunity because McCarthy was dropped or omitted for this weekend's game.
What they're doing, though, is exposing one of the great weaknesses of the Swans. They haven't got the really tall defender.
Playfair's missed to the right, though. Disappointing finish. He was looking for his second. And just to behind. So the Cats inch in front by 2 points now.
But it's good signs for
good,
Geelong.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's good signs because they've got a kid that's growing in confidence. And, you think through the pre-game strategy, as a free kick looks to be coming back to the Sydneys, to the Cats.
Way back in the at the edge of the centre square to Chambers. But you're right, it's a confident Playfair at the moment.
They've isolated the weakness and they're trying to expose it by banging it in the air and have Big Henry do the jumping.
He's headed to the goal square now. He wants it high again. He attacks the footy. A little bit of a nudge out. James peels off the pack and goes to Bolton, who's in a little bit of space. Sydney like to run it from here. The turnover, the smother. It falls to Gardner. Around the body. He kicks the goal. Sydney error. The smother from Milburn, the goal to Gardner.
They're the simple things that will get you back into a game of football, or certainly get the confidence up. That's terrific play by one of the senior players, Darren Milburn. Good presence of mind from Charlie Gardner.
Fourth goal of the quarter for the Cats. Cats responding as Williams takes a break. Gardner, his first score for the season, puts them 8 points up, and their pressure tackles at the moment are keeping them in the game, the Cats, 23-16. As Enright gives it back to Raleigh, and the Cats growing in confidence. Bajinski to Kelly, just smothered, and now perhaps Sydney on the turnover as Crouch didn't have it. He'll get the free kick.
And that's the issue I think you'll outline so correctly, is it's the Swans, because they've just not been up to their normal standards of attack, and they haven't coped with Bomber Thompson's strategies. They've played the Geelong side into some form. Geelong came here with so many skeletons in the closet, they wouldn't have taken a hell of a lot to expose that lack of confidence, and yet they're playing like a side who was on a mission.
Sycanelli in strife once again. He's come off. Would it be fair to say that they're almost waiting for errors, Sydney, trading off Geelong's errors? None there, though, as Barry Hall slides into the mark from Bolton. Nothing doing.
I think what you're seeing is this one side that generally works so well for each other, just now at the moment just working in their own particular zones. When the ball's in their area, they'll work, but they're not getting the crossover run. But let's quickly go down to Tiff Cherry, who's got some news.
Not good signs for the Swans on their bench. They've got ball off Kennelly. He's just gone down the race. He had problems with his abdomen before, and also Williams was indicating problems with his left calf. So not good signs for the Swans.
Some real experience there with Williams and Ball. Barry Hall now. Coming back. Wrong side of the post. Yeah. Off the ground, Crouch. Take it any way you can. Good work by Adam Goods. Kept the ball alive. Crouch, front square.
Well, I'd like to see the replay, and it won't be far away. And that's a cardinal sin, really. Good kick by Craig Bolton to Barry Hall.
He's been more damaging out in the half-forward line.
He has, and I think what he does is open up passages for other players. You've just got to make sure when you're defending, you can't allow a play like that to keep the ball back in play. Good play, Jude Bolton. Well capitalised on Jared Crouch.
Uncharacteristic by Bolton there, wasn't it, to get up high and just keep it back in. Normally he's the man that's standing down in front looking to crumb. Margin back to 2 points. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the first half, and they've been very impressive at the centre square. Geelong, tenace, high ball, tough one to mark. Catch that if you can. Over the top came Rook with a reprieve back in the team. Needs to make the most of it, and he has here. Haynes, fumble. Will it prove costly? High ball towards the square. It's going to be wrong side of the post, behind. And a free kick against Kent Kingsley. It's going Sydney's way. It'll be taken by Bolt. Let's take a look. Just dragged him over the line. Once the ball was through, unnecessary from Kingsley. Matthews in the back pocket.
Well, Mooney's gone to half forward, and Leo Barry's taken him, which has meant Saddington's moved over onto David Haynes. And Haynes just got so much space there, it may have taken a little time for them to orchestrate that. Now Saddington pushes back, he maintains the loose man's position, and Ben Matthews has gone on to Haynes.
Goods over the top, no one down in front for Sydney. Tenace forced to kick quickly. There's Saddington that Jared mentioned, who was standing in that hole. And, well, they would have provided a loose man. It may still. Barry just slipped at the wrong moment. Now they're away. Bevan, Matthews, Bolt. Very open forward line. Streaming out Schneider. Raleigh went in front. He had to take it. Schneider will go long to the goal square. In front, Geelong. Who can keep their feet? Milburn. Oh, that was clever. Got it back to Harley. And perhaps on the rebound, the Cats can come out the grandstand side.
He's pretty frustrated there, Adam Schneider. He was streaming into the goal. square, and all the forwards were running after the goals. He wanted someone to come up so he could just deliver the bullets.
Spriggs with his first disposal for the evening. So Playfair with his 4th mark for the quarter, presenting himself once again. Open forward line for Geelong. A lot of players in the midfield at the moment. A long way from home. Not his best kick. It's either going to fall for Williams or out in the full. It's the latter. And the former has the footing. More Williams. A tremendous player for the Sydney Swans. Since switching from Collingwood. 2 best and fairest. High ball. Ball is the target. Geelong have the numbers. Wojcinski thought about Tenace.
Kosdyk's just got to make a contest here. If his man goes up, he's got to go with him.
Gats holding on to a slender lead, but not holding on to possession in front of Cameron Mooney. Geelong looking for some credibility in round 3. And they have won 3 of the last 4 here at the SCG. Only once in the last 2 years have they won outside Victoria, albeit here. Tenace at the bottom of the pack. Stolen by Buchanan. Ball up. Stalemate with scoring at the moment. 4 goals to 3/4.
So working incredibly hard to get Barry away from the play. Now Haynes has picked up Barry again, and he's taking him straight to full back, given that he's playing at full forward. Desperate to keep Leo Barry off that half-back line.
Well, you'd have to say it's working, isn't it, Jared? Given the scoreline.
Yeah, it's usually one of their most potent attacking forces. Right now he's just purely a defender.
Short from Wojcinski to Harley. Swans have numbers back and they're manning up quite well. So not any free players for Harley to go to. Playfair. Oh, Adam Goods. The Brownlow medalist with superb skill.
Brilliant grab, running back with the flight of the ball. That is classical football.
That's magnificent. And 2-on-1 though, the target. Enright couldn't take it. Williams was crumbing. He just forced it forward.
Williams just getting a bit frustrated with the attention. He had Johnson initially, now it's Rook.
About 65 metres around from the Sydney goal. Goods, he's almost winning the ruck contest at will. Milburn's been good for the Cats. Kelly has to give on the up. Decided to get his hands free. Perhaps it cost the turnover. Crouch, inventive. Still with Geelong though. Ball forward, it came from Enright. And away goes Sydney now. Saddington in the middle of the ground, long ball. Geelong with some numbers. Scarlett went to help out. Ablett trying to knock it forward. Barry Hall now. Caught by Enright. O'Keefe back to Buchanan. He swapped. So too is Kirk. Good pressure by Geelong defence. Enright down on the ground. Milburn somehow had some time. Needs to hit the body. Doesn't. It's going to come back very quickly. Good. Back where it just came from. High ball. Jason Ball coming. Not to be.
Just
good strong
Jason Ball. He's just not quick enough coming forward. Tom Harley's got his measure very quickly down the boundary line. Tip Cherry.
Yeah, not good news for Ty Kennelly. He hasn't re-emerged from the rooms, and the word from the Swans bench is that he's having severe pains in his stomach.
We want to see him again then.
Henry Playfair has taken another mark as he presented. We're back with 3 Swans. One of them is Ball. Goods went without it. Tackle from Corey, heads back in the Jason Ball direction. The talk from Bevan. He gets it now. Not a good kick. 2-on-1. Milburn is clean. It's been a welcome return to this team for Darren Milburn. Haynes. Low on the wing. Kelly. No, play on. Round the body. You kick one like this in the first turn. He's got 2. He didn't need the mark. He was up on his feet pretty quickly. He kicks his second. The Cats out by 8 points.
Been a very handy James Kelly. Not only has he done some great work in and around the centre square, but this is good presence of mind. Dropped the mark, got to his feet. It's a good shot on goal. But a lot of their goals are simply coming, Gerard, from some terrific pressure and putting some doubt into the Swans' mind.
Yeah, the pressure was on the half-forward line. The kick went into an unmanned-up Milburn, and the rebound got him the goal.
James Kelly now with 2 joints, Paul Chapman. Kelly also with 14 disposals. Leading disposal winner in the game as Buchanan gets one high and will take the free kick. Certainly made the umpire certain that he copped one there. Came into the side. Just going to ground there, McVeigh. Riley got back and he wants Playfair again. And he stood and waited. A learning experience for Playfair. He took 5 marks already in this quarter. And James makes him pay. Good. Tucked up. Side angle. Looking to lay off. Wayne. How will he go?
Well, last year's Brownlow medalist. Right side for a right footer. He'll pass.
Thank you very much.
Got it in the hands of the right bloke.
He's given it to Paul Williams, who doesn't miss too many.
He doesn't. It's a pretty important goal, this one. Sydney are really just working in fits and starts. There's no flow about their game, and I think full credit to Mark Thompson, who really has just upset the pattern of the Swans, and they haven't really settled just at the moment. I think Paul Roos will be pretty keen to get the group together at half-time and work this through, but this is an important kick.
Just before half-time, a kick from inside the 45-metre line to bring the margin back to just 2 points. It's perfect. Williams gets his first, and the Swans just with a bit of momentum about to go into half-time.
Well, it's their 4th goal for the quarter, but as Gerard said, they're stopping and starting, and it's just a matter of these senior players like Adam Goods and Paul Williams starting to take some control here and a bit of ownership about the side's performance. I think you called it right, Gerard. There's not many blokes in the side that you want the ball in the hands for a telling kick on goal. Paul Williams doesn't miss too many. Now it's a matter of the Swans starting to kick their game going.
Swans pushing their whole forward line up onto the half-forward line now, trying to neutralise that loose man that Geelong have used effectively.
Spriggs out of the middle. Geelong continue to win the centre clearances, and for something to happen before half-time, they're going to have to be quick. Just trying to keep it alive. Gardner slapping it forward. Going back, Crouch. They can share it around, but it's not to be. Well, just before the game started, Gerard Healy thought that looking at the Geelong players in the warm-up, they have come ready to play. They certainly have. Terrific second quarter by both teams. And at half-time, Geelong leads Sydney by 2 points.
Last time out, the Hawks hit the picket fence. Sunday, the Sparks fly again when the Electric Company hosts the Hungry Hawks. Port Adelaide take on Hawthorn Sunday on Fox Footy.
Here we go. It's the Anderson twins. Mate, this is our big chance. It's got to be our wingman. Hi. We'll shout you it is. Wait. Dad, do you know Chris is a great dancer? No, I don't really care.
Who is new? What mates do?
Think innovation. Think convenience. Think flexibility. Think design. Think Power Station, the world's first modular cordless appliance system. Power Station transforms kitchen appliances from plug-in standalone units to an integrated station capable of operating 3 cordless appliances at once. Power Station also enhances kitchen safety by eliminating tangled cords and double adapters through the use of a single power point. Think Power Station. Think Harvey Norman. There's a store near you.
There is a plot to make most terrible things happen.
What terrible things?
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry this year.
I was wondering if you could tell us about the Chamber of Secrets.
It is said to be the home of a monster.
The Chamber of Secrets has indeed been opened.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets premieres April 25 on Movie One.
I started out in footy as a physio. I couldn't believe just what these guys would go through to play the game they love.
There's a lot of blood coming from the face of James Hood. He's in a very bad way.
Well, I soon found out that the broken bones would mend and the cuts would heal. The pain of losing would never, ever go away.
Gutsy from Campbell Brown.
Who says this is just a game?
Tiffany Cherry, footy fan, part of the Fox footy team.
And, well, Ty Kennelly is still in doubt, I would say, Swatter, because if he was ready and available, you'd reckon he'd be out there.
Let's find out what's happening from Tiffany Cherry, boundary side.
Well, Jared, you didn't become a physio for nothing. Yes, there is some injury concerns with the Swans, but Ty specifically, he's got some sore ribs. They don't know whether they're broken at this point in time, but they're going to try and get him on. And obviously they've got problems with Ball, Bolton, and also Schneider. No problems at all with the Cats. They're looking good.
It's just a fair imposition. Well, he's in trouble. You would imagine now that he's finished for the match. So that's one certainty that's gone for the Sydney Swans. If he's in the rooms now, he will not be coming back. And, well, they couldn't ask for a better chance here, the Cats, because the Swans look like they're disabled, if you like, on the bench. And it's 18 against 22.
And it's 45-47 as the second half kicks off, with Corey getting it from Milburn. Out in front of Kingsley. Has a little bit of time and gets it long forward towards the 45. Gardner was there. Haynes. First to it though, Saddington. Barry. James over the top. Bolton. The defenders combine. They run it out well. This is Jared Crouch.
Well,
Should have made a meal of that. The intercept was almost clean. Chapman. He's caught. Playfair's underneath it all. Corey again. And perhaps a little bit fortunate there. They've held up that Sydney run. Sydney chant here at the SCG. Very good record of home victories. Last season they were very good. They won 7 of 9. This is Johnson. There's Playfair. This time it was Kingsley. Chapman at ground level. Gives it back. Call the throw. Won't be a score from Kingsley. It's got to come back.
Well, we've got to go back down to Tiff Cherry. Jim Steins was miraculous for his recovery. We know that. But this is a miraculous recovery in its own right, Tiff.
It is, absolutely. Well, as you just see then, Ty Kennelly is running onto the ground. He was like a caged bullet, but just on the boundary line here wanting to get back on. So they've left it up to him.
Wouldn't be the first miraculous comeback at Easter, Jared?
No. There's a fair precedent being set a couple of thousand years ago. What was he doing down in the rooms then, Tiff?
Well, they were assessing his ribs, and the inside word was that he'd possibly fractured one, maybe even two. But, I mean, by looking at him now, I mean, you know, obviously that's probably not the case.
Keep a close eye on Kennelly over this next, certainly 10 or 15 minute period. You can see him there with Enright. Ball is with Cameron Mooney. Chipping it forward to Gardner. No score, no change to the score in the first couple of minutes of play. And it's very static at the moment. Geelong prepared to be patient, but it does tend to fall into Sydney's hands when they can get some numbers back. He's taking all the time in the world. Here's Charlie Gardner. Playfair the target. The spoil was good. Matthews in front. Kelly the tackle. Here's Bolt trying to release Kirk. Williams went without it. Another error by Sydney. Bolton had it knocked forward by Kirk. Hall slipping over. Tackle from Gardner, and here they go. Raleigh. Some messy footy by the Swans. Could cost them. Haynes. Clean take. Wrapped up beautifully. Great tackle. Play on the call. Here's Kennelly testing out those ribs. To Bolton, who goes back in turn now to James. Switches wide to Kirk. Short to Kennelly, who'd run on. Now just chipping up over the line. Wojcinski into the back.
Didn't have to do that, David Wojcinski. All he had to do was just put enough pressure on it. Luke Ablett had to pick up the half volley, and that's just an unnecessary free kick.
Ablett.
interesting matchup in the goal square for the Swans. Got O'Keefe being picked up by Harley. Harley generally goes with the bigger fellows.
Now eventually the ball goes long. Goods has got to come. He almost got there. He had to beat 2 and he almost did. Swooping on it, Johnson. Haynes, long lead. Now here's the error. Went to ground, spilled the mark. Maxfield knocks up. Too easy for Williams.
Well, one on to Ty Kennelly coming back on after obviously what is a bit of an injury problem. But it's definitely been a lift in intensity here, Wayne, and the Swans are getting better use of the footy because of it.
You'd expect Paul Roos would have addressed a number of areas at half time, and one of those would have been that the Swans just can't sit back and expect things to happen. Expect your leaders to stand up and get things going again. They've had that so far in this early part of the third quarter.
So for the first score of this third quarter, it's been played between the two arcs, and that's a poor kick from Williams. And we said just before half time how you want the ball in his hands. A rare miss.
Yeah, but he'll have a look back at his video, and that time he just fell off the ball, and therefore he sliced it. It's like a slice in golf because he didn't have his momentum continuing through the kick. But it's one of those issues. Here we go. It's almost like a replica of Jason Ball's kick a couple of weeks ago. Just twists that left shoulder, and he pushes it out the right.
Back with the action as Kelly looks for Haynes. Taken by Mooney. Trying to get the handball to Haynes. Goods hands free. Mooney trying to bust the tackle, did so, but then lost the footing. Still with the Cats though. Milburn gets some support behind him. Johnson, that's 7 metres. Umpire called play on. Corey into the middle to Wajinski, and that could be no. Over the top, Wajinski. Enright. Middle of the ground. This goal's going to be very important given the build-up. Not paid to play fair. Won't be happy with that. Kennelly. Got a call out the back. Bolton got it to Bevan. Back into traffic to Kennelly. Sydney. Indecisive at the moment. Not sure where to go. Heath Jones decides to just bomb it up in the air. The spoil from Enright. In front. Crouch. Still indecisive. Hall is the target. He's finally got it. Too far out to score though, Barry Hall, and he's picked to move it on. At last, Schneider. He can goal from there. Slides across the front of the goals. No score. Messy football the Swans won.
It is. It's just it's not your normal Sydney. But put that down purely and simply, Matty, to the pressure that Geelong are applying. Sydney have now, as you called it before, Jerry, Rhino keeps starting at full forward, which you've got Barry Hall at centre half forward. You're looking for a lift from Barry.
Mooney knocked it down in front. 31 disposals to 18 in this term to Sydney, yet they've only picked up a point.
And a lot of their running players, when they do receive the ball, they're either stationary or they're heading back. So that's tremendous credit to Geelong, putting enough pressure on one of the Swans' strengths.
Yeah, their handball tally's gone up enormously. There's been junk disposals in many ways.
Yep. Here's Hall. Busting through. Ablett. Good smother though by Hunt. Enright. Pretty calm there. Got it over to Kelly, who continues to get plenty of the ball. Out in front of Mackie. He can kick the ball a long way. Went for the second option in Gardner. There is James Kelly, who continues to lead the disposals ahead of Jude Bolt.
Well, the Swans have had their burst after half time, but it's a question of whether they can lift themselves mentally to get over this period, because they're clearly flat. They're not working anywhere near like they normally do, and Geelong are here to play. They are desperate for their first win, and if they can't bust them open, I think probably leading up to the three-quarter time siren, Geelong's intensity will almost be just manic in that last quarter, because they know they're so close to a victory and so desperate for one.
Yeah, you get the feeling that that intensity will be there for the whole 4 quarters from the Cats, don't you? From the clearance, Sydney go ahead, Hunt with the one hand, that's confident. In the end, it was deserved. Out in front of Chapman, got it. Dropped the mark, those been paid.
Umpire's guessed.
And the umpire was a long way away. given how quickly Hunt moved the football. Chapman doesn't waste any time. Not sure about the decision. Will it pay off? Playfair. Hands to Kingsley. The smother was Bolton. Mackie. Wrapped up beautifully by Matthews. Kingsley too high. Free kick Sydney. Free kick Jared Crouch.
He's maintained his work rate, has Ben Matthews and Jared Crouch, two players that have just continued to impress as their careers have gone on. Just workers in the truest sense of the word, line.
And yeah, absolutely, Jared. And they've really relished the opportunity now with recent retirements of some of the stalwarts of the Swans football side over a number of years. And it's players like Crouches, Kennelly's and Kirks and these like that are going to carry this club into the future.
Saw Brett Kirk continuing on his vein of the leading tackler in the AFL. And the free kick's 15 to 10 at the moment in favour of Sydney. Kennelly bursting through the middle. Over to Maxfield. Long to the goal square. Sydney in the best spot, somehow falls through to Enright. The comedy of errors. And he gets Haynes. There's one for the videotape there. How did that happen? Haynes drives it up to the wing to Gardner. Chapman on a lead. This time he's got it again. No mistake here. Into the pocket. Good pass. Good precision play. But Kingsley's on a tight angle.
He seems to rarely have a shot in front of goal, Ken Kingsley. He's always on angles. Generally gets his opportunities on the long lead.
As you'd expect, James Kelly on top of the rankings, courtesy of the weight of that possession and some very effective disposals of late. And Mooney has got the short pass from Kingsley. Now, we're almost halfway through this third quarter. No goals. How important is this kick?
This is vital. Not only Cameron Mooney kicks the goal, but rewards the hard work that his teammates have been able to apply on Sydney so far in this third quarter. Hasn't had a lot of the ball, Cam Mooney, but geez, I've been impressed with the way he's gone about a very much vaunted Sydney ruck division.
Hasn't kicked the goal for the year, it's just 3 behinds. They need this, the Cats, and he delivers! Mooney with his first, importantly the first goal of the third quarter. After a long period of time where the ball's been going up and down the SCG, we finally have a goal.
There was an absolute beauty too. As the change is made, Leo Barry coming from the ground. Not sure whether he's injured or it's just a change of structure, but Doyle going forward. But they're going to be tough to beat from here, the Cats. They are really on fire. They're working incredibly hard. Doyle going forward.
Connor Thompson has won the Leo Barry contest, if you like. He's off the ground. Doyle to full forward. Here's the change from Paul Roos. Crouch. His work rate, terrific. Williams under pressure. Geelong at it. Free kick. No, get it through the hard work and weight of numbers. Holding on, it's Johnson. Oh, he gave it straight back. Ling and Williams getting to know each other. Geelong have still got the football somehow. Harley gets underneath it, kicks it long towards Kingsley. Bolton right with him. Percentage play needed. It was there. Geelong lead by 7 points.
Kingsley worked his way to the front position there with Craig Bolton, then made the decision to look where to see where he was. He had the front position. I'd just rather see Kent Kingsley, when he gets in front, attack the ball.
Going nowhere at the moment. Leo Barry receiving some attention on the bench.
Leo just getting some treatment to his right ear.
So, Tiff, can you just clarify the position of the Swans bench for us?
Well, it's not good. They're rotating a lot of their players, but a lot of them are carrying slight injuries. Well, Barry there, he's got bleeding from the ear. Ball looked like he was sick. Kennelly obviously with the ribs. Schneider, his right quad. And Williams was having problems with his calf.
But all still available to go out in the ground.
They are.
9 minutes remaining. The SCG crowd trying to get their team back in front, will them into a lead. Matthews is wrapped up, a couple of Cats there. Johnson tries to flick it back, but Maxfield was in the way. Barry, Hall and Scarlett have enjoyed that. Here's O'Keefe in front of Mooney, 2-on-1. Mooney did enough to allow Corey to get through. Crowd not happy, but it's play on. Ling has got to go inside, and he does. Wojcinski, a running machine, to the goal square, 1-on-1. Oh, Kelly just misread it. He's going to get a free. That is lucky.
No, that's fair. That's a good decision. He looked like he had the front spot. The Swans have just allowed Geelong to bring the ball straight into their forward line.
No, that's lucky, Jerry.
That's lucky. Yeah, good call. Dubious.
But I'm interested to see that Kirk is following Kelly wherever he goes now. Gone full back. Oh, Kelly.
And that's something that would please Mark Thompson.
3 goals to James Kelly.
And the umpire's copying a nice old break here. But from my eyes, it looked as if it was a infringement when he had his eyes on the footy. But the replay has shown this up to be a pretty tough one.
There's a good kick by David Wojcinski, even though Kelly didn't take the mark and was awarded a dubious free kick. It was to his advantage. Didn't have to stop, and Prop was allowed to attack the ball.
Rising Star nomination last year, James Kelly has put his side into a 13-point lead, the biggest margin of the game so far.
And they've made a change there. Kirk now going into the middle on Chapman and Bolton going back.
And here is Chapman ducking and weaving and getting under the tackle, forcing the ball forward. Mackie and Matthews, Kingsley and Bolton. Kingsley back to Wojcinski, ran into trouble in the form of Matthews. Still with Geelong. Kingsley chipping it back. Good standing in the way. And running. Trying to get some of this vaunted Sydney running defence happening. Long and direct towards Hall. Spills over the back. It's all Sydney here. O'Keefe off the ground. A behind. And he gets a bit of a chat from Barry Hall.
Yeah, they're not working as a unit. That was Barry Hall was running beside him and he was looking for the scoop up. It's actually Bevan that's gone back on to Kelly, not Bolton.
First disposal for the third quarter for Goods, and need him involved in the game now because it is a 2-goal margin.
Oh, cop that. There's been hit head high there, Maxfield. Had to be a free kick.
Not to be. This is Haynes. The bump came from Hunt.
It was unintentional, but it was there, and accidents count.
Umpire in the perfect position to see that.
We certainly don't need another injured player going to the bench. Stewie Maxfield, not a well boy at the moment.
And Nick Fosdale could come back out. Meantime, Johnson, umpire paid that for 15. It was about 9. Doesn't matter because Geelong have no pressure at the moment as Chapman swings to the wing and runs past Williams. Pretty open forward line. Kingsley tried to go one arm. Corey's not getting through there. And Stewie Maxfield just trying to recover from a pretty solid hit from Josh Hunt.
Just indicating there that in a whiplash type injury, he's grabbing his neck.
25 metres out. Saw that hit a couple of times. Kennelly, and that is forced through for a rush behind. Real danger signs though for Sydney, given that we've got 6 minutes remaining, a couple of experienced players on the bench there, but no goals for this third quarter.
Yeah, the danger signs have been there right from the word go, and what's I think most significant is it doesn't appear to be an across-the-board lift, Wayne, and that's exactly what they need because Geelong have got 22 players going well. To get Sydney's injuries, that's over the line too, and the Geelong player pointed that out. He was a good half metre over the line there, Ty Kennelly. Adam Goods is one he's had 6 possessions, he's had 6 kicks and 2 handballs for the match. He's had 1 possession this quarter. Given he's going up in the ruck, he's not going to get the same stats as a ruck rover, but you know, based on his best games that he's capable of, he's well under.
Haynes went through without it. Bolton searching for a teammate, trying to go underneath. He did eventually to Fosdyke, who just bangs it on the boot to knock it forward. Wojcinski standing. Underneath all that is Leo Barry. Still going. Umpire let it go and it found Ling. All Sydney back here though. Kirk left his man. Joel Corey just stood in the goal square there and let him go. In good hands by Nick Fosdyke.
Let's have a look at this kick out. Pretty line ball, probably too hard for the umpire.
Yeah. Sydney have been closed down this evening by a very determined and disciplined Geelong outfit.
I think what would be disappointing though for Paul Roos is that they haven't responded as a group. I mean, Adam Goods is having a shocker tonight.
That's not one that he'll remember, the drop chest mark. As the Cats go forward to Gardner. Sydney have got a couple back. Gardner's not sure where to go. Goal square's open. Heads in that direction. Kingsley and Bolt. Kingsley made good position, didn't take it. Kurt, Matthews. Bevan took his time. In trouble. Milburn goes in, he got some support. Again, good defensive pressure by the Geelong defenders.
Well, for mine, it's just been the highlight of the night so far. And I think it might have been the debutant, Mackie. Terrific chase.
Yep.
Just managed to affect the spoil and put the Swans' opponent off balance.
Spriggs spinning, not going anywhere.
Can they keep it up, the Cats? 13 points in front.
Yep.
About a quarter and a bit, about 45 minutes away from just turning around what's been a hellish start to their season.
Cameron Ling tries to get on the boot, does. Still in with a shot here. Wojcicki couldn't take possession. Kirk underneath it. Still inside the forward 45 for Geelong.
Such has been the dominance of the Geelong side tonight. If you look at the Sydney leading statistical possession winners, Heath James, Craig Bolton, Barry Hall, three key position players are in the top 6 possession winners for Sydney. Their midfield just hasn't been able to get going.
Spriggs, Bolton, Chambers. Well, he got a call from Tanase. Fosdyke got in the way. Schneider approaching Kelly. Went to ground, tried to duck out of the second one, gets it high. Away goes the advantage. Tanase to Riley, into the pocket, a man standing on his own. Corey. That's the second time he did that. First time he had to pay for it. That time, he got it.
He's under instruction, I think, to hold his ground and stay back, trying to drag Kirk away, trying to split up this Swans defence. And if he can snag this one, it's going to be tough haul home for the Swans.
They lead by 13 points. Joel Carey looking to stretch that to 19. Joel Corey needs to come back. It won't. It hangs out to the right. It's a behind.
Don't expect Stuart Maxfield to come on. He's getting some treatment on his neck, but as I indicated before, a whiplash type injury. And Geelong may have just got their first injury in Kelly. He just hurt his right hip.
Yeah, in this little contest here, we saw Schneider and Kelly tripping over his own feet. Going to ground. Sydney have only managed 2 behinds in this third term. Kirk going wide to a running Jason Ball.
Great kick.
Replacing Adam Goods.
Leo Barry's gone forward. Short pass. It's good enough. Saddington. Barry's still on his own. Saddington, short. Now McVeigh. Is he in range?
Well, I think he blocked the hole there. Barry Hall was on a long lead, probably 5 yards behind.
McVeigh into the pocket.
Just not quick enough to be a leading player, Jason Ball. He's getting closed down every time.
It was Doyle, and that was McVeigh.
But it was the
wrong pocket anyway. Pressure from the Cats. Sydney still involved though. Schneider tackle, ball up. Didn't have anywhere to go there, neither did Chapman, who ran straight into Schneider. Still with Sydney now. Barry trying to bust open a pack. Milburn. Schneider gets a call from McVeigh. Can't get it there. Fosdyke to lend a hand. Over the boundary line. Sliding player underneath was Kelly. So inside the last minute, Geelong desperate to hold on here to take a 14-point lead into three-quarter time. Lots of players back, the Cats. Just one player for them, their side of the ground. Barry wanted a free kick. On hands and knees, Bolton wanted Fosdyke. Ling, it's still going though. Buchanan short, missed the target. Still plenty of Swans around. Running through is James. Inside his 45, off the side. And a very timely mark for Tom Harley. A saving mark. They were pressing hard, Sydney. And you just want to settle down here and maintain some possession. Also give his forward some time to get back up the other end. Ali decides to go long. Corey, Chambers, ball over the top. Williams couldn't quite take it. Corey there first for the Cats. Kelly, a hit and hope.
Good
tackle. The crowd will tell the story. The siren sounds, and the Sydney Swans have been kept goalless in this third term. Terrific tackle by the big man Jason Ball on Jared Rook. But the Cats have stretched their lead. It was 2 points at half-time. It's now out to 14 points. They lead 9-7-61. The Swans with a job ahead of them, 7-5-47.
The business of football is Fox Footy's business. And setting the agenda every week, Healy, Sheehan and Walls.
You blued with John Elliott?
St. Aaron Hamill was on the couch last Monday.
It's been well documented that Jack and I, or John, didn't quite see eye to eye.
Who's next in the hot seat? On the Couch, live Monday on Fox Footy Channel.
Every week they meet. 4 old soldiers with yarns aplenty. They've hung up their boots, but the legends live on. You know, they don't breed footballers like they used to.
Time here at the SCG, and for the second time in only 3 games of the season, Sydney have been held goalless in the third term. Just in round 1 against the Lions they did likewise, just the 2 behinds. And Geelong, well, they lead by 14 points. James Kelly's been outstanding with 3 goals, Chapman with 2. If you look at the stats, Jared, we talked about Geelong only getting 6 and 9 goals respectively. Maybe 9 or 10's enough tonight.
Maybe. I mean, it's difficult to see, Wayne, where the spark's going to come from for the Swans. Clearance is still well in favour of Geelong. Unless Geelong get enormous stage fright coming into this last quarter, you just can't see Sydney finding enough people to lift to get them across the line. It's going to take an enormous turnaround in this match if Geelong are to lose.
Well, absolutely. I guess the question would be, Geelong haven't been in a situation like this too often. It's a matter of whether they believe themselves if they can get over the line. But geez, they've done everything so far to suggest that.
Time now to check in again on the score at the West Coast Eagles Essendon game from the Telstra Dome. You don't want to know the score if you want to watch the replay. You can look away now. Is he the man to spark the Sydney Swans to get them back into a winning position?
I think Paul Roos is looking for a spark, and if you look in the middle, you've got Matthews, Williams, Kirk and Goods, 4 of their best in there. I think that's what he's pinning his hopes on.
You're going to need a really big quarter from Adam Goods. He's perhaps had his poorest game for some time in the AFL, and 1 quarter from him could be the difference in the result.
Geelong by 14 points, looking for their first win of the season, looking for a big upset. Can they continue in this last quarter? Sydney need to find something. Who will it be? Saddington gives it back to Matthews. In turn, he receives it from Kirk, and here's Adam Goods through the middle. Needs to go long and direct. He does so. O'Keefe getting back. In right to Spoil. Oh, just reading it off hands nicely was Tom Harley. He goes up towards Haynes. Spoil was good enough from Saddington. Crouch missing the body. They still have the numbers. Crouch.
Well done, Crouch.
Yeah, but again, the handball was untidy. Kirk. That one hits the target. Saddington back to Kirk. Sydney with a glut of possession early. Eamon Buchanan can goal from here. He likes the goals. He's inside 45. He swings it across the front. 2-on-1. Josh Hunt leaves his man to rush behind.
Once again, we had a player on the left foot, on the wrong side, just trying to blaze away a goal for Sydney and ignoring a couple of options in the middle of the ground.
Some question marks over the Sydney bench. Let's find out what's happening with Tiff Cherry, boundary side.
Well, the biggest concern is Stuart Maxfield after that high hit, and they're icing his neck at the moment, and I don't think he'll come back on.
As Raleigh finds Enright on the outer side. Also there, McVeigh, Ablett, Doyle. Short pass has come unstuck. Sydney ball. Definitely started the better. And this man's been involved in everything since three-quarter time. 4 disposals in a minute and a half.
Speaking of disposals, this is a 0-all draw, or maybe a 0-all win for Geelong. Scarlett and Hall have had no disposals since quarter time.
Matty Scarlett.
Sorry, that's just Matthew Scarlett. I thought Barry had been there a few.
There's Barry there, diving across the front. Importantly for Swans fans, Jason Ball has taken the mark. He's going to line up for the first goal for the second half for Sydney.
Well, they started him down there at full forward with Barrett Hall about 10 yards in front of him. And you have to go back a couple of weeks ago, Matty. Had a chance to bury the Brisbane Lions. Gets a chance to redeem himself and, more importantly, keep his team in this match.
Crucial kick for the Swans. That's what's in front of Jason Ball. A little bit closer than he was in round one. And it's off the side again. It's hit the post, and history repeats itself almost.
I reckon that's a carbon copy of what he did 2 weeks ago.
It was a slide off the right, wasn't it?
Leant back, tried to steer it through, and you'll find when players go out towards 50, they don't do that. They kick fluently through the ball. Great lesson for any kids out there that want to be a full forward.
Will it come back to haunt him again? It remains to be seen. There's plenty of time left. Joel Corey now for Geelong. Cameron Ling's got to be 2, maybe 3. And the 3 wins out. Crouch drumming into the centre. Poor kick. Jason Ball won't be happy with that. That's a terrible result for Sydney. They had all the run there. Oh, speaking of run, that's holding the ball. Great chase by Schneider. Can he get the goal? Can he make up for Jason Ball? He can't. Deserved the goal. Opportunity gone begging for Sydney. Schneider knows it. Geelong having trouble getting it out of their defensive 45 at the moment. They're under siege. And they're just taking... Oh, that is woeful.
Well, speaking of stage fright, Jason Ball struggled to go with the kick, but Geelong are just nowhere near the side they were at the other side of this three-quarter time break.
That was a terrible kick in from Corey Enright. Oh, well, perhaps Paul Williams can put some sanity back into this game.
Still a tough kick, this one. But it's not the 50, it's the 45, so it's a little bit easier than you'd expect.
Williams. Can he make amends? He looks okay. It's there, he's got 2, and the Swans are back in it. Much needed goal for Sydney. A lot of work, 17 disposals to 5 so far in the quarter. Finally getting some reward.
Well, they needed to. They'd gone inside 50 3 times within the first 3.5 minutes, which registered 3 behinds, and that is a gimme mistake by the Geelong defenders there. Can't afford to allow that to happen. Paul Williams just needed to go back and do what he did. The crowd are upping their ante, so to speak. Perhaps that's the spark the Swans need, Jared.
Williams with the goal, and that's 4 goals that the Swans have got out of their 8 directly from errors from the Geelong defence.
And for the first time tonight, the Swans crowd has got
found some voice, yes. And they're live and running. Crouch, the fumble, plenty of numbers though for Sydney. Williams again for another. Not to be. Clearance from the centre, the important part of that play. Williams probably should have finished better. They're pressing Sydney. Geelong have got to find something. Kirk's everywhere at the moment.
Terrific handball. Free up his teammate Amon Buchanan. Deserved the goal there, but Sydney are on the charge.
Geelong feeling the heat. Taking the shortcut. Corey.
Good use of the umpire there to shepherd.
Screen.
Yep.
Matthew Scarlett.
As you said, first possession since quarter time. He hasn't been effective with his hands and his feet, but by goodness, he's done a good job on Barry Hall.
Yep. This is Mooney. Chipping over the top. Johnson. Sydney get back in numbers. 4-point margin.
Darren Milburn is doing a great job. He's now on Barry Hall and he's on Jason Ball. They're interchangeable depending on which person takes the kick out. And Milburn's dragged Barry Hall to centre half back. He's one out in the forward 45.
Over the back is Leo Barry.
Turnover here will get it.
He could get the ball here. Kelly. Here's Milburn. Not to be. Heath James. Barry Hall. This time he got past Milburn. He got wrapped up by him before. Barry. Kirk. He's the spark at the moment for Sydney. Bolton to Fosdyke. Players running through the middle. Turnover. Well, Kelly made an absolute meal of that. Geelong not sure how to win it at this stage. And they get a free kick.
Well, that's a big question, I guess. Can Geelong find a way to win?
Yep.
Swans are having a crack, getting desperate when the situation gets desperate. But they also aren't all that clean with their skills.
Yep. And they're mucking around with it here. Kirk! Flying! Couldn't mark it. Kennelly takes on the tackler. Fosdyke. Sydney press forward again. A wobbly old kick into the forward line. Schneider. It was Buchanan. Harley went back. Little 1-2 there from Enright. Geelong will switch sides. And if they can keep control, they can get a long way here. Hunt needs to keep it in. Doesn't. Brett Kirk, 6 disposals already in this final term. Almost made it 7. Captain Kirk has flown a long way in his life. He almost took a great mark. Adam Good's in the ruck against Mooney. They've controlled the hit-outs, but clearances have gone Geelong's way. Mooney just trying to push it forward. Bolton over the line. 4-point margin, 14 minutes remaining. It's a tight finish. Cliffhanger today between the Kangaroos and Carlton, and for another one here at the SCG. Kelly's been on top of that list all afternoon, or all evening I should say. But a few red and white numbers coming up underneath him now. Ruck infringement. Sydney ball. Jason ball. Ball. Leads now. Scarlett caught behind. Deep in the pocket.
Just did that particularly well there, Matthew Scarlett. Used his shoulder edge under Barry Hall and push him under the marking area.
It's been all Sydney in this last term. 14-point margin has been whittled back to 4. Hall gets support. Matthews just outside 45. Hooks the kick. Another behind. They've had their chances.
But the concern is unless Geelong can find a way to goal, Sydney will end up winning the match because they'll eventually find the 6-pointer. Geelong haven't really had a genuine shot at goal in this term.
Sydney have had 5 scoring shots, 1 goal for. Hunt finds himself free. Haynes provides the lead. Strong take in front of Saddington. Playfair owned the second quarter. Haven't seen much of him since. And provides an option there. Kingsley, the lead. Into some space. Bolton right with him though. Kingsley almost at the second attempt. Barry tries to get around Johnson. Numbers for Sydney. Bolton back to Matthews. Combining well, forced to kick quickly. Was calm under pressure and just found Saddington.
Oh, he's spot on. There was a great kick. If he ever kicked it long, it was going to come straight back over his head. He maintained possession. The Swans have got to go out the other side.
They've got an overlap if they can get it there. But Paul Chapman reacted pretty quickly for Geelong to close that down. So Bolton was forced to come back to Saddington. SCG crowd involved in this last quarter for the first time tonight, and that support kick. Not sure about the option either.
Well, I don't think he had a great deal on Jason Saddington, so perhaps that's not such a bad result for the Swans.
Swap's taken place, ball goes into the ruck and Goods pushes forward.
Ball easily wins that. He wanted Williams. Give on the up. Beautiful. Kirk standing, spinning and getting out of trouble. O'Keefe. Ball's out. Brett Kirk, well, he's everywhere.
His direct opponent is Cameron Link. The runner sent a message to Cameron now. You want to give your side every opportunity of winning, Cameron. You might just want to pay a little bit more attention to Brett Kirk right at the present moment.
Jason Ball untroubled in the ruck. There's Kirk again.
So this is a strategy of his, close them down and then go on the attack when perhaps you've got them mentally.
Oh, possibly, quite possibly, but also might be a directive from Paul Roos. Look, we need a spark. I think you're perhaps one of these players they mightn't expect it to come from.
Kelly now just trying to close down Kirk, and Ling gone to Matthews.
Crouch. Oh, got a bad bounce. Kelly went to ground. Swans kept their feet. Kirk or Crouch. The ladder kicks it forward. Where's Barry Hall? Goods is there as well. We'll have another behind. They're inching their way to the lead, the Swans. They've dominated the ruck. So we saw Jason Ball win 2 or 3 in a row there. 40 hit-outs to 17. Geelong under siege. Got to find an avenue to goal. Good zone by Sydney here at the moment. Trying to force a turnover. Milburn. Oh, short to Enright. 12 metres. Enright. They still haven't got it out of the danger zone yet. Cats.
The problem they've got is they haven't got a tall marking option they can rely upon. Going to have to take the pump.
And that is Chambers up against Goods. Up early went Goods. Free kick.
Gerard, I see a lot of similarities between this match now for Geelong and what happened in the Wizard Cup final. They played terrific football up until three-quarter time, just went back into their shells and seemed as though they lost their way.
Well, they've just got to get one goal, and I think they'll free up a little bit. Adam Goods also just needs to pay attention to the percentages somewhat.
David Haynes, the former Eagle. Been often a target tonight or playing a decoy. Oh, dear. Won't be happy with that kick, and can the Swans make them pay? Terrible left foot wobbler right onto the chest of McVeigh. Short pass over the top. Williams misses the target. Cats on the rebound. Enright stepping around. Player on the lead. Kingsley.
Great kick and mark.
He's within range. He's on an angle again. Chipping over the top. 1 on 2. And the 2 will win out. Or will it? Jude Bolton went without it. Cats get a reprieve. Jared, what's happening there?
Well, I don't think anybody wants to have a shot at goal. I mean, the pass was on, it was reasonable, but so was going back and shooting from 40 metres.
Right against the boundary line. Geelong haven't scored yet in this term. They probably won't here either. Crouch, Saddington, the Swans share it. Schneider gets distance with the kick. 1-on-1. Hall pushes Scully out the way. He'll go back, and he could put the Swans in front. Well, it's almost, Jared, the same distance as Kingsley was at one end. And we could have a 2-goal turnaround. Barry Hall. Been well held by Scarlett, but really showed some strength there.
Wasn't copybook spoiling from Matthew.
Any way you can, Jared.
Hall for his second. The Swans to hit the front. 48 metres out. Giddy up. SCG comes alive. The banners and flags wave. Sydney in front by 4 points with all the momentum.
Yeah, but they're not across the line. But you see there the value of a marquee player.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Jared. It's one of these players that can go back confidently, step up to the situation, accept the pressure and the responsibilities that go back with kicking a telling goal at a telling time during a fourth quarter period. And I guess that's what he's paid for, Barry Hall, and well done.
Swans in control at the moment. Cameron Ling's gone to full forward for the Cats to try and be the man to go to. But they haven't scored. There's Ling with Kelly. So 2 midfielders out of the square. Centre square infringement. Absolutely cardinal rule. Should never do that. Sydney with the ball. Hall couldn't take it. At ground level. Buchanan back to Barry Hall. Set sail again. It's still in play. It's towards the line. It's at the post on the full. It'll be a Geelong kick. 9 minutes remaining. Sydney have kicked 2 goals 6. Geelong zip.
Oh, look at this.
And here's Swans everywhere. Kirk couldn't quite take it.
Well, The Cats back 50 have done a great job in restricting Sydney to 9 goals, but they've been responsible for 5 of them. Just shocking disposal coming out from part of the match where they've got control, and that's the points.
Here they go, Swans. Buchanan to Williams. They're going backwards, but they still maintain possession. Ball steps through the gate to the goal square. Goods! Misses it! Gee, hasn't been his night. Just as likely to step up and take a screamer, though.
Change coming, some experience coming onto the ground. Mooney on. Playfair. In fact, it's Chambers coming from the ground.
Corey Enright just holding his arm coming off as well. David Johnson come on, so problems for Enright, problems for the Cats. Here's Enright's tackle on Buchanan. And just going to ground and getting his hand caught underneath.
Got the overlap.
Buchanan. Yeah. Chapman needs to hit a target. He's going to back himself to run around O'Keefe. Gets to centre wing. Long ball, Sydney in the best spot. Spriggs spoiled and has another chance. A third effort. He's trying to get it forward. The resolute defence of Sydney is good enough though. Kennelly to run. Opening up ball. Kirk still going. McVeigh's the second option. Long and direct once more. Adam Goods with the nudge. It may even bounce over the top. Goods takes the goal. Sydney on fire. 10-12 to 9-7. It's getting harder by the minute, Jared.
Well, the sparks come from half a dozen players for Sydney, but in reality they've just gone back to winning the contested ball and getting the ball into their forward line long. Kennelly actually pretty good there. You see the instructions. He tells him the As McVeigh running, and Adam Goods, he goes for percentage here. He doesn't go for mark of the year. Stays down, kicks a goal.
Adam Goods with his first, but a timely one at that for the Swans.
Enright won't be coming back on. He's injured his left wrist. It's not broken, but certainly he's got limited power with it.
Yeah, he's in a bit of pain there on the bench. 11 points. Sydney in control. Cats need to find a spark. Mooney on hands and knees and just gets it back to Chapman, who unloads with a big torpedo punt. Leo Barry going back. That was very clever. Showed good pace to get there. And look at this.
And Goods waiting in the goal square.
Matthews, short, ball. Will he move it quickly?
Still waiting.
He is thinking. Now Matthews has run on and drops it. Geelong still under pressure though. No clean possession for the Cats as yet. Boundary throw in, so reprieve there for Geelong with the error from Matthews.
He would have backed Goodsy in there. He was on a roll, and he's one out. Long kick in, get the pressure on the Geelong defence with 2 metres to spare.
Yep. There's a beautiful knock from ball. Matthews gets a push in the back. Barnes paid. Kurt quickly up forward. That's a good, strong mark. Jared Rook. Nope. He said, well, they both had a piece of it. Couldn't quite see that. Ball up. All the players are confused. They'd all moved off. Adam Goods laying it down in front towards Ablett. Harley with a Fosbury flop over the top. Gets the free kick for legging.
The Cats have just got to address in the next 10 or so minutes, whatever time is left in this match, 6 minutes, the issue of clearances. 16 to 4 since half time. Swans have lifted big time in that area.
Williams surrounded by Cats. One of them is Hunt. Kept it in play, did well. Mackie just getting his kick away. Playfair, clean take is good. Johnson, they're just breaking down. They're missing the targets here. Spriggs bounces off his chest. Barry, that's poise. Schneider.
That's pace.
Off the wrong boot. That's a good kick. That is a brilliant kick. He just hooked that to the right of Jason Saddington. Open forward line. Goods one out in the goal square. Now go towards Barry Hall. He'll look to bring it to ground now. Goods is going to come late. Strong mark in front, Tom Harley. Goes wide. Milburn. Up the middle. Mooney.
This is where it becomes problematic when you play the lockdown game. They've only kicked 9 goals for the match, the Cats. They've got to kick 2 to win.
Not going to get one here, Jared. James cuts it off. Just the 4th time they've been inside their forward 50. 45 here at the SCG. In contrast, the Swans 15 times in this last term. Buchanan dropped it. Umpire called play on anyway.
A bit lucky there, the Swans, getting away with a poor skill error, but the free kick came. They're pushing the back. Snyder off. I reckon that would be just Paul Roos trying to guard against the soft tissue injury. He had that hamstring in the Wizard Cup match, and he looked pretty ragged going through the centre last time he had the long kick.
Jared, he'll be back on in a couple of minutes. He just asked for 2 minutes rest.
Just a bit tight, and we know he's got that quad injury, Tiff.
Here is McVeigh. Just a boundary throw, and just 4 minutes remaining, and Sydney lead by 11 points. But importantly, Geelong haven't scored.
Well, it's just amazing how it's turned. The Cats have just got to address this issue of belief in themselves. They've played perfect footy for 3 quarters, and yet haven't stepped up when the game was there.
I'm a firm believer in winning and losing habits, and when sides haven't been in a position to close out a game, as we've probably seen with the Western Bulldogs in the first 2 rounds, there's not a lot of confidence and belief to close out a game and get yourself across the line. You've really got to feel for Geelong, because they've played good footy up until 3/4 time.
4 minutes to go. They've got to get a clearance, get it down, and get themselves back within 1 shot.
Yeah, get a mark inside forward 45. Well, once again, the bounce down, and once again, it was Goods and Mooney. The takeaway not clean by either side, and it's a stalemate at the moment. Sydney holding. Paul Roos with just the 10 goals for his side this evening, but at the moment that appears to be enough. Replay. This time Goods wanted a runner. Sydney got too much pace at the clearance. Williams, O'Keefe, stepping. Little handball to Kirk, off 1 step, still alive, deep into the pocket, Jason Ball. He wants to give off. Well, he hit the post earlier on in the quarter from about 35 metres. It's very close, as you can see, but a tougher angle. Now, when he's missed so far, he's sliced off to the right. Giving himself a yard. Right with him. Jason Ball. Hits the post again. He's got 1 each side.
Boys, Schneider's just come back on.
Time running out, though, for the Cats. It's 2 straight kicks now. They've got to get some run. Got to take a risk. That kick could be the one.
It's a great kick.
Yep. Onto the chest of Milburn. Geelong, though, not really any running players coming past. At last, the unlikely one was Mooney. Chapman going back, doing well though. Crouch got in his way. Kennelly back to Saddington with the numbers again. Sydney got to hand it to their defence in this last term. Hardly put a foot wrong. Been very poised under pressure. Mooney to ground. Matthews trying to release Schneider. He's got it now. Shares it with Bolton. Short. No one there for Sydney, out on the full. 2 kicks in it. Sydney now sensing that they may have done enough.
Adam Goods now pushing up the ground.
Yeah, away from the goal square now. Geelong looking to switch it. Can't afford to miss targets in the last 2 minutes. Johnson over the top. Raleigh. Mackie, the first gamer. Look out. Got it inside. Got it well. Got it beautifully to Kingsley. Paid the mark.
The Mackey's a godsend. He can kick the footy, and he's quick. He's going to be a player for the Cats.
Quite simply, Kent Kingsley has to kick this goal. Distance shouldn't be a problem. Question of accuracy. It's there. The Cats are alive. Somehow, they haven't scored for the quarter. Somehow, within the last minute, they've kept themselves a kick within a draw.
That's all they had to do. We spoke about Barry Hall go back, kick the long goal. Kent Kingsley, look, I've been impressed with this young fella tonight. Really didn't have an option there, and what he's done is get it moving forward inside 50 very quickly, force Kent Kingsley to move up on the lead. That's a very good goal with a minute remaining.
Exactly. The equation is simple. One straight kick for the Cats to tie it up. Centre clearance, important. Sydney win it through Williams. Harley in front. He's had a good last quarter. Free kick for Holding. Advantage paid. Geelong with the last roll of the dice. Goods gets back to help out. Mooney just pushes off his teammate Kelly. He's gone. He managed to get the boot to the ball. He's getting a free kick for too high.
Yeah, Mooney's given away a free kick.
Oh no.
No, he hasn't.
That's
He's
Mooney's.
reversed it.
Yep.
Gee, that one fly and he reversed it.
34 seconds. Wojcinski just gets his kick. Cats need a mark. It's not to be. And young Heath James, the saviour. And he will slow it down. Just 20 seconds remaining. A turnover is what Geelong need. Leo Barry's going to make sure it doesn't come. Counting down the clock, Sydney have come from behind in the last term. They will win this game by the solitary kick. Geelong just couldn't find that avenue to goal in the final term. The SCG crowd roar. The Geelong players stand with hands on hips, wondering just what might have been, wondering whether their three-quarter effort was ever going to give them a chance to win. Just the one score to the Cats in the final term, but Sydney, well, they managed 3 goals, 8. Could have iced the game with some better kicking in the final term. At the end of the day, they've won the game. They now start the season 2-1. The man who was absolutely outstanding in that last term ended up with 20 possessions for the game. 10 of those disposals came in the final term. It was Brett Kirk. He was brilliant. And he was the man that led them towards the win, Jerry.
He was a starter. He gave them a spark through the middle of the ground. He was one of their better players right across the evening. And well, the Cats will look back on this and just wonder how they have thrown away 4 points. They were magnificent for 3 quarters. They were, but they had nothing and couldn't answer the Swans' challenge in the last quarter. And whilst the Swans will reflect and know how badly they played, Swatter, it's these wins that make the difference between you getting in the top 4 or the bottom 4 of the 8.
Well, I mentioned Brett Kirk. Let's just quickly, guys, and go down. He's with Tiff Cherry.
Well, Brett, a goal. That was such a close match.
Yeah, we played pretty disappointing for 3 quarters. We came out in the last quarter and really had a crack, and we stood up in the end, but cheers, it was close in the end.
Well, you're one of the key instigators of that revival in the last quarter. What did Brucey say to you guys in the three-quarter break?
Well, he said we couldn't play any worse at the 3-quarter time, so we just had nothing to lose. He said if we're going to go down, we're going to go out swinging, so we came out and we worked really hard in the last quarter.
What do you get out of that win, knowing that you'd obviously win the close ones?
Yeah, well, it was just a huge challenge for us. We've been going okay. We knew it was a danger game today, and to win that was just a great effort by the boys today.
All right, well, good luck for next week and well done.
Thanks.
6-point win to the Sydney Swans and Brett Kirk, a wonderful last term. They had to find something, didn't they, Wayne?
Well, they did, and I think that they've certainly used up their get-out-of-jail card tonight, and I think we alluded to it in the beginning of the game. It certainly presented itself as a danger game, and you've got to learn to expect that, I guess. And the beauty about it, I suppose, Brett Kirk also mentioned it, they certainly didn't play good football, but the sign of a good side is to get up and win matches when you're struggling.
Well, a few people obviously happy with the fact that the Sydney Swans have won by 6 points. They're out there enjoying the atmosphere at the SCG. I think you're right, Wayne. It was a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card. What does Geelong take out of it? I mean, they're bitterly disappointed now, but they did play better than last week, but they didn't win.
They did, and Mark Thompson in the pre-game interview said we just want to be competitive, and I sometimes wonder whether or not he's set the limit of just being competitive. He's setting the bar a little bit too low. Look, they were terrific up until three-quarter time. They'd be hugely disappointed heading back to Skilled Stadium next week. Zipping 3, much better, but at the end of the day you play to win, and they would be bitterly disappointed about the fact that they couldn't close out the game tonight.
Adam Goods, well, he didn't have the best of games, the Brownlow medalist, and that's 2 quiet games in a row, but he was there in the last term with that goal over the back. And
he said there was flashes of brilliance, but the hard work that underpinned his great year last year perhaps was the issue that wasn't evident tonight, and something that he's going to have to look at, because in many respects he's the foundation stone of the Sydney Swans, along with Barry Hall. He's the bloke that gets them going in the middle of the ground, and the Swans need his brilliance as well as his hard work. But let's go back down to the boundary line. Stewie Maxfield with Tiff Cherry.
Well, Stuart, how's your headache?
Well, I'm not too bad. I think I'm a little bit sore in the morning, but I'm not too bad now. So.
Great win by the boys there. Obviously, you were sitting on the bench pretty frustrated, but sensational lift.
Yeah, fantastic win. I think we knew it was always going to be a tough contest. I mean, coming up any side who's lost 2 in a row is always a hard task. But to the boys' credit, they really had a bit of grunt out there and fought it through to the finish and come away with the win.
They're the kind of wins that really pay late in the season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're the ones that really give you that self-belief. No matter what stage of the game it is, the boys have got the confidence now that they can grind it out and graft the win.
And just specifically with your neck, will you be right for next week?
I'll be right.
Of course, thanks, Stuart.
next week they take on the Kangaroos at Manuka, and we see Josh Hunt just coming through and collecting Stewie Maxfield, and the head has to be protected, but the umpires have said at the start of the season they were going to set a precedent. They've done so in the first couple of weeks. Stewie pretty unlucky to get a free kick.
It was one the umpires missed, but fortunately for Stewie the major damage wasn't done. He just ended up with a headache. But the Swans will go down there knowing that they have got away with a shocking performance for three-quarter time and turned the juice on for 20 odd minutes and come away with the 4 points. In the end, that's all you need to do, but take that in against a side with better equipment than the Cats, and you're going to get beat.
Well, Chapes is a huge match next week against the Kangaroos at Manuka, and very interested over the next 24 to 48 hours as to their injuries out of tonight's match.
Well, it's time for the song. It's always a highlight. The Sydney Swans. Well, they'll sing it as though they've got out of jail, I think.
And led ably by Kenny Williams, stalwart of the club, who turned 75 last week.
Shake down the thunder from the sky.